Hello, everyone. Today, Anderson and I will be delivering our presentation on the topic of comprehensive security solutions for financial services in a cloud environment, focusing on the cloud security lifestyle. As financial firms transition from traditional data centers to cloud based platforms, ensuring security becomes paramount. This presentation will emphasize the crucial security measures, including identity and access management, encryption, and regulatory compliance required to safeguard financial data. By leveraging AWS PaaS, financial institutions can achieve flexibility and scalability, but must also address security risk. Our approach highlights strategies to protect sensitive information, ensuring data integrity and adherence to standards like PCI DSS. In this section, we'll be covering Amazon's cloud storage services, highlighting RDS MySQL, S3 Glacier, Amazon S3, and DynamoDB. Each services enable efficient data management, archiving, and backup through scalable, secure, and user-friendly features. Amazon RDS MySQL is a managed database service that allows for the setup, operate, and scale MySQL database in the cloud. It handles tasks like backups, software patching, hardware provisioning, making database management easier and more efficient. For today, we will be showing you an example of how this works. First of all, we will be accessing Amazon RDS services via the AWS Management Console. Second of all, we will be initiating create database and then choose standard create and engine option as MySQL. For the third step, we will set the CPU and memory specifications for the database instance. Fourth step, retain the default settings for the master username and database instance identifier. Fifth step, we'll be creating a password automatically. And last of all, we will be initiating the create database button to start instance creation. Amazon S3 Glacier is a secure, durable, and cost effective cloud storage services designed for long term data archiving and backup. The ability to store large amounts of data with a fraction of the price compared to the standard storage options makes it unique and advantageous. First of all, for this exercise, we will be going under the AWS Management Console. Select the Service button followed by the Glacier that is located under the storage category. Step 2, next we will be clicking onto create vault button highlighted in orange towards the left to create vault followed by a name creation. The Amazon Simple Storage Service S3 is a cloud based storage system which provides users to manage and store sensitive information on the internet in a safe and secure way. The ability of high scalability allows for the users to store files ranging from tiny to massive datasets. First of all, we will, for this exercise, under the AWS Managed Console, select Service followed by selecting S3. Step number 2, to create bucket, click onto the button Create Bucket and give it a unique bucket name. This will then followed by region selection, and finally we will initiate the creation. For the third and final steps, files can be added by selecting Bucket to upload. Amazon DynamoDB is an Amazon cloud database that provides simple and easy storage options and the ability to access large information in a short amount of time. This fast action allows the database to operate everything you want so that services can be managed properly and efficiently. Amazon DynamoDB also provides secure data functions alongside with strong backup options when information is needed quickly for recovery. For this exercise, for the first step, under AWS console list of services, select DynamoDB. Second step, select Create Table, followed by entering the information and detail requested.
Next thing, we're going to talk about security in AWS. To effectively secure financial services in the cloud, we must utilize key AWS security services that provide protection against various cyber threats. I'll introduce some essential services. First, let's talk about AWS CloudTrail. And what is CloudTrail? It helps tracks and log all action performed within your AWS account. This service is critical for auditing and monitoring activities. And here is how we set it up. First, we need to access the AWS Management Console. After that, we search for CloudTrail, and and then you click Create Trail. button followed with a unique name creation that you like. And then you choose an S3 bucket where the logs will be stored and ensure log file encryption is enabled. Next thing, we have to select the specific events you want to track, such as read and write activities. Next is Amazon CloudWatch, which provide real-time monitoring of your AWS resources. Setting up CloudWatch involves first in the AWS console, you navigate to IAM. After you navigate to IAM, you create a role for EC2, selecting CloudWatch agent server policy for permission. Okay. So after we create a role for EC2, we select CloudWatch agent service policy for permission. Secondly, attach the role to your EC2 instance and then download and install the CloudWatch agent uh, on the instance. Configure the agent to gather the desired matrix and logs and then activate it. By doing this, you can track performance metrics, set up alarms for unusual activities, and maintain a proactive approach to system health. Now, let's discuss Amazon Guard Duty, an intelligent threat detection service. And here is how we enable it. First, we go to AWS console and navigate to Guard Duty. After navigating to Guard Duty, we click Enable Guard Duty. Secondly, we configure export option by setting up S3 bucket to store findings using encryption keys for added security. We customize access control policies and set up alert through SNS, simple notification services. Guard Duty uses machine learning to identify suspicious behavior, providing alert when potential threats are detected. Another critical service in the WS security is Web Application Firewall (WAF). WAF helps protect web application from common threats, and this is how we set it up. First, in the AWS console, we select WAF, and after that, we create a new web ACL. ACL. Secondly, we choose CloudFront distribution as the resource type. Third, we set up rule for traffic filtering such as IP addresses and add AWS managed rule groups for common vulnerabilities. Lastly, we assign priorities and configure the metrics that then finalize the setup. WAF acts as a proactive layer, ensuring that harmful traffic is blocked before it can impact your application. Lastly, we have the AWS Shield standard. Provide automatic protection against distributed denial of services (DDoS) attack. And this service is enabled by default for all AWS customers, so no additional setup is required. Secondly, it shields your application and the website from common network and transport layer attack. It helps maintain services availability during unexpected traffic spikes. AWS Shield ensures your system stay online even in the face of potential DDoS attack. Thank you.
The use of identity and access management components such as users, roles, policies, user groups, and multi factor authentications will help enhance security by managing authentications and authorizations effectively. A user in the context of AWS refers to an individual or an application that interacts with AWS services and accesses its resources. It serves as a digital identity for either a person or a software application, allowing them to utilize different AWS features and services based on their assigned permissions. For this one, as an example, first step we will be opening the AWS Management Console and search for IAM to access the Identity and Access Management console. Then select User and click Create User. Step 2. Provide user access to AWS Management Console and then set up a custom password. For the third step, add user to group and grant full permissions within a specific group without any extra access restrictions. And last of all, step 4, check configuration settings and create a user. A role in AWS IAM is an entity that grants temporary access permissions, playing a crucial in security best practices. It is not linked to any IAM users to or entity, allowing for flexible access control across various AWS services and resources. For this, as an example, step 1 in the IAM interface, go to the roles under access management, then click on create role, which is followed by select AWS account as the trusted entity type, enter the account ID, and enable multi-factor authentication. Second step, we will then add permission. For the third and final step, provide a unique role name, description, followed by create. Policies are JSON's formatted documents that outline the specific actions that users, group, or roles are allowed or restricted from performing. For this example, as part of the first step, we will firstly create a policy, then select policies, which is followed by click create policy, then check the necessary permissions, which is followed by selecting action and choose to attach from the drop down menu. The second step will be choose the entity you want to link and then click attach policy. A user group is an organized collection of IAM users that streamline the management of permissions. By attaching policies to these groups, all members can conveniently acquire the necessary permissions. For this example, as step number 1, we will first create a user group by choosing the group options followed by and assigning it a name, and then adding the desired users to the group. And last step, we will be creating the group entirely. Multi-factor authentication, or also known as MFA, is a widely commonly used security system to add extra security level within a web space. This is done when a user is required to provide multiple authentication factors when logging in. An example with this would be first step, access the user interface to choose user requiring multi-factor authentication, and then select the multi-factor authentication device. Second of all, we will be installing the application and then scan the QR code.
Okay, lastly, in this section, we're going to discuss about networking protection. In the cloud environment, securing network access is essential to protect data and maintain smooth operation. AWS provides several key tools to enhance network security, including virtual private cloud, VPC, subnets, security groups, and more. And we're going to go over this, all over these components. First, let's talk about VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. A VPC provides a logical isolated network within the AWS cloud, allowing you to define IP addresses, ranges, create subnet, and set up network configuration. And how to set up a VPC? First, we access the AWS management console and navigate to the VPC section. After we navigate to the VPC section, we click Create VPC and provide a suitable name for it, a unique name if you can. And then third, we specify the IPv4 CIDR block. Example, you can use a dash 16 on it and choose default tenancy. Lastly, we complete the setup by clicking Create VPC. A VPC offers secure and scalable networking, enabling you to control access to resources and services. Next, we have subnets, which are subdivisions of a VPC. They help isolate resources by placing them in distinct availability zones. Here's how you can set one up. In the VPC section, navigate to Subnet and select Create Subnet. Choose the appropriate VPC ID and assign name. Third, specify the desired availability zone and the IPv4 CIDR block. Lastly, you complete the setup to create your subnet. Subnet are useful for organizing resources and implementing security policies within different parts of your network. Another key element is security group, which act as a virtual firewall to control incoming and outgoing traffic for AWS instances. To create security group, first we need to navigate to the security group section under VPC. Click create security group and provide name and description. Choose the VPC ID and set up inbound and outbound rules to define allowed traffic. Lastly, we complete the setup by clicking create security group, and security group is uh, set up already. Security group help regulate access, ensuring that only permitted traffic can reach your resources. Next one, we have route tables. Route tables determines how network packets are directed within a VPC. They are essential for controlling the flow of traffic, and here's how to set it up. First, in the VPC section, go to Route Tables and select Create Route Table. Assign a name and link the design subnet to the route table. Define the routing rules that specify how traffic should be directed and then finalize by saving the configuration. A route table ensures that network traffic flows efficiently and securely between subnets and external networks. Let's move on to the NAT gateway, which enable private subnets to access the internet while blocking incoming connection. And here's how to create an NAT gateway. First, navigate to the NAT gateway option in the VPC section. Click Create NAT gateway and assign a name. Thirdly, choose a appropriate subnet and set up connectivity to public. Allocate an elastic IP and complete the setup. NAT gateway are crucial for providing security outbound internet access without exposing resources to the public. Finally, we have NACL, Network Access Control List, which provide an additional layer of security by controlling traffic and subnet level. To set up an ACL, first you gotta go to the Network ACL section in VPC. Second, you click Create Network ACL and provide a name. Thirdly, you choose the appropriate VPC and add inbound and outbound rules. And then you save the configuration to apply the setting. That's it. And that's how you set up NACL. NACL acts as an extra security measure, offering finer control over network security. In conclusion, for this presentation, as financial institutions transition to AWS platform as a service, securing service in the cloud is more important than ever. Our proposed solution emphasizes key three three key strategies. First, advanced identity and access management to control and monitor who can access sensitive data. Second, comprehensive data encryption to protect information both at rest and in transit. Third, proactive monitoring through AWS CloudWatch to detect and respond to potential threats in real time. This measure collectively ensure that financial data remains protected from data breaches and unauthorized access while also maintaining compliance with strict industry regulation like PCI DSS. By following the security approach, organizations can confidently leverage cloud scalability and efficiency without compromising data integrity and confidentiality. It strengthens customer trust and support regulatory. Ultimately, this framework provide a solid foundation for harnessing cloud technology securely, defending against evolving threats in today's digital landscape. Thank you for your time for listening to our presentation.